Hey guys, it's Whiteboard Wednesday with Muddy and Diane.
And today we're going to be talking about the power of the pen and leading from the whiteboard. So grab your markers and let's get started.
Hi Diane.
Hi Muddy, how are you today?
Awesome. Can you believe episode 2 of Whiteboard Wednesday?
I know, congratulations. I'm so excited to share today's lesson with everybody and all of our viewers and listeners.
It's awesome. Today, we're going to be bringing you some tips, tools, and techniques, just like we do every month on Whiteboard Wednesday, about how to unlock awesome at work. See, at the Whiteboard Academy, we're on a mission to help others unlock awesome through visual thinking.
For 20 years, we've worked with companies large and small to unlock their ideas. We've seen cultures completely transformed, leaders promoted, and millions of dollars saved.
Exactly. And gone are the days when leaders can be successful by standing in the back of the rooms with, arms crossed and holding that veto card in their pocket.
Yeah, the leaders of today are standing at the whiteboard. They're leading conversations. They're capturing their team's ideas, insights, and inspirations. They're making maps and models. They're looking at all the big data, and they're trying to map it out so that their company understands where they're going so they can all make better decisions.
Exactly. And we're going to talk a little bit today about kind of harnessing the power of the pen and unlocking those whiteboards. I mean, if you look around, virtually every office, boardroom, meeting room has whiteboards in it. And so often they just go unused. They're just sitting there quietly and not able to capture those aha moments. So we're going to talk about what happens when you pick up a pen and begin to capture those ideas in a visual way.
And one of the things that we talk to a lot of our clients about whenever they're trying to understand why they should be using visual learning in their organization and why they should be whiteboarding is imagine how many conversations are going on inside of companies, inside of breakouts. And the worst thing that can happen is no one captures the ideas that are generated, which are gold for your business.
Once people can see those ideas and they can point to them, then you can begin to work with them and make them better and iterate.
And one of my favorite moments that happens in a room is whenever someone comes up to me and they say, "You've got it wrong." And I say, "Awesome. I'm so glad I have it wrong, but at least I have something. And this is what I'm hearing you say." So if this isn't the right flow, if this isn't the right process, if this isn't the right map of where we're going, let's talk about that. And it's fascinating how you come up with like a simple process and you and I will facilitate and we'll open the room and we'll say, "Okay, what is step 1?" And it's like crickets. What is step 1? And so start to map out those ideas on your whiteboard and start to see the connections and the relationships so that you can map the process.
And that is when that happens in a room, when someone steps up to the whiteboard, picks up the marker, and invites that question, what's step 1? Even though there usually is that kind of moment of awkward silence, if you allow that moment of awkward silence, just on the other side of that is usually a phenomenal conversation and ideas that are just waiting to happen. And so when you step up to that board, it creates that invitation for others in the room to share their ideas.
And to push back their chairs and stand up, right? And to start collaborating together. It's no longer like, "Hey, who wants the marker and is going to capture the stuff on the whiteboard?" And it's kind of like the Charlie Brown walk to the board. Now it's more of like, you are the empowered leader because you are leading the conversation and you're allowing your team and your group genius to rise out of that meeting and be captured. So let's give them some tips of how to get started, Muddy.
Awesome. So one of the first things I wanted to share is that, or kind of the how-to, things that you can begin to put in place today, is really this idea that good tools matter. And it sounds relatively simple, but have you ever walked up to the whiteboard, picked up the pen, started to draw and it's a dead marker, it's like cue the sad trombone, you know, wah, wah. But in contrast, when you go up and you've got a fresh marker and you're making a bold stroke, bold marks invite bold ideas. And so having good, fresh markers makes a huge, huge difference. And so here's an idea. For 20 bucks, you know, you can get 5 packs of fresh markers, stock up all the meeting rooms or give them to your team. Show up to your next meeting with your own markers. It will make a huge difference on the kind of quality of ideas that meeting happens from something as simple as a fresh new whiteboard marker.
Yeah, one of my other favorite tips, look, I'm gonna reach behind me, is like pick up a fun little container to put them in. Don't just let them sit on the tray. Like put them in the middle of the room, go to Target, go to Home Goods and find a fun container. And I put this in my suitcase, my briefcase. And sometimes I show up at a meeting because they already know I'm the doodle girl. And I pull out this fun little container and I stick in the fresh markers and I'm like, all right, let's go.
That's awesome. The second tip we have for you today that you can do, something beats nothing. And here's what I mean by that. It doesn't have to be good. Here's one of the beautiful things about the whiteboard. Everyone expects it to be messy and sloppy. It's a whiteboard, right? So it's not about art, it's about ideas. So if you just pick up a marker and start making some marks. Stick men are fine, simple shapes are fine. If you don't, the alternative is a blank board, is a blank whiteboard. The alternative is nothing. So hopefully that's a little word of encouragement that something beats nothing.
You know what else, Muddy, is it also keeps the conversation moving because sometimes you can circle and cycle on the same thing because everyone wants to say it from their vantage point. But when it's captured on the board, it's very simple to say, we've got that. Let's move on. And so it's also a facilitation tool to keep your meetings moving because no one wants to be in meetings all day long.
That's a great segue to this third tip for you, which is that practice makes progress. So no one's ever good the first time they start anything, you know, but visual thinking, harnessing the power of a pen to start capturing those ideas and leading from the whiteboard, pretty soon with a little practice, you'll see progress. It'll be like riding a bike. It will become second nature for you. And in fact, it will begin to transform the culture in your organization. Diane, we've seen this over and over again.
It also might enhance and build your personal brand inside your organization as an innovator, as a strategist, and as a rising leader.
Yeah, all of those things happen when you begin to unlock the power of the pen, lead from the whiteboard, stand up. And, you know, we're talking about the whiteboard. And in a lot of rooms, that's exactly what we want. We want you to step up to the front of the room or the side of the room and begin to capture those ideas. But as we talk about practice and progress, Diane, what are some easy ways that kind of low pressure, how can we lower the bar to help people kind of start and begin to do a little practice on their own as it relates to this?
Yeah, so one way to do that is if you're not quite ready to go to the whiteboard and start leading, start taking notes on your own. Carry one of those 4x6 index cards like we've seen Muddy flashing up. Carry a simple marker and write down a few ideas. And maybe you share them with someone after the meeting and you say, hey, this is what I think I heard. And then maybe the next time you share them at the meeting. And then maybe the next time you take a picture and you share them with everyone who attended. And so you start baby stepping into capturing your ideas, sharing them with others to build on each other's ideas.
Boom. That's what we've got for you today. Just a little bite-sized lesson, some tools you can use today to begin to unlock awesome at work. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you next month for Whiteboard Wednesday.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.